What's good? It's your boy SK74. What up, gang? Alright, so today video of reviews the Gangster Disciple of New York, the story of Blick Gang, 22 G's beef. I don't think I've heard of this story. So we're gonna figure out what's the problem or how this shit go. Let's do this.
To the party. I'm up to Molly to Zen to lean, that's why I'm moving retarded. That's why I'm moving
right, and then left. Who the thought his friend was a boss? Okay, left the bridge and we with the 9.
You got something in common, welcome to the party. You shot it, nigga? Welcome to the party. Oh, you get bitches? Welcome to the party. From Canarsie, Brooklyn. So we get
With a string of gun violence across the country this weekend. Between Friday and Sunday, at least 10 cities reported mass shootings. Those are shootings with 4 or more victims. People.
We also want to head over now to Miami Beach, where a deadly shootout there was apparently over a parking spot.
Local 10 News
killed. Investigators say it started at the 200 block of Ocean Drive. 19-year-old Jeffrey Alexander allegedly shot and killed 30-year-old Ladarian Tyrell Phillips of Homestead. Alexander.
43 breaking news out of Brooklyn, where a popular rapper was shot and killed overnight. Nick Blixky was discovered with gunshot wounds on Winthrop Street in Prospect Leopard.
Blixky Gang, a GD-based gang in the Bronx, and one of the most, if not the most hated gang out of Brooklyn, and is a part of the Joes, an alliance between a lot of gangs that mainly consists of GDs, and for those who don't know is short for Gangster Disciples. Gangster Disciples originally started out in Chicago, and later spread and made its way all the way to New York. They mainly beefed with the Crips/Wu, which is also the rival alliance of Joe, and has made its way to the music business. More specifically drill music through rappers like Pop Smoke and 5EO Foreign, and not to forget Bobby Shmurda, the GS9 Crip, that brought back that gangster rap attention to New York. One of the pioneers of the drill wave in Brooklyn as well is 22 G's, the blackballed GD from the Blickies, and came in with a whole new wave at the time. But it was ultimately Pop Smoke that brought in that huge success into New York drill, in a wave that has never been seen before in Brooklyn drill music. To understand the origins of the Blickies, we have to go back to where it all started, and that's with the Gangster Disciples. The GDs, as I've mentioned, originally came from Chicago. The way it made its way to New York City was supposedly back in the day when a lot of the GDs in Chicago got locked up and did time in or around New York, and as many got released moved to Brooklyn, and it supposedly spread from there, and has been operating from there since the 1990s, and has ever since fallen under the alliance of the Joes. In the beginning the Crips and GDs were cool back in the day, and some were even friends and hung around, and even had a combined gang sign together. Although things were cool back in the day, it wouldn't last, as the Crips would fall under the Wu alliance and GDs the Joe. And that was established as the younger generations didn't have that bond with each other or that same shared view of how it should be. The modern-day leader of the GDs were Devin Rodney, aka D-Block, the 6th outlaw Gangsta Disciples Folk Nation. He led the Folk Nation gang in committing senseless acts of violence, including shootings and robberies, which terrorized the residents of the Ebbets Field houses in Brooklyn. The gang shooting of an innocent 10-year-old girl attending a neighborhood block party highlights the moral depravity of gang life. The six-stray set of the Folk Nation operated out of the Ebbets Field houses in the Flatbush area of Brooklyn for years in order to fund.
Well, one of the things I'm understanding from this so far is GDs was ridiculously changing their names, but it's still rather than the same shit, which is not a problem. It's just it making it more harder to understand who the fuck y'all are. So Folk Nation is still part of the GDs, I'm believing. That's just me guessing, because shit, a lot of motherfuckers yelling "What up, folk?" is usually GDs.
Its illegal activities, D Block and other members of the gang committed violent robberies of individuals and commercial establishments, including the Lee Perla Jewelry Store at the Riverside Square Mall in Hackensack, New Jersey, where they made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of luxury watches. In his role as the leader of the Folk Nation, D Block ordered his subordinates in the gang to commit numerous acts of violence, which often missed their intended targets, perceived rivals or enemies of the gang, and severely injured innocent bystanders. In the attempted murder to which D Block ultimately pled guilty, D Block ordered the killing of a Royal Crips member upon learning that the rival had been spotted near the Ebbets Field projects. In the chaos that ensued, when gang members rushed to implement the orders of their leader, an innocent 10-year-old girl attending a block party was shot in the neck. D Block ultimately got sentenced to 20 years and was arrested in a RICO sweep alongside other GDs.
Federal authorities say they have arrested a fugitive leader of a violent Brooklyn and Queens street gang. Officials say Devon Rodney is in custody and awaiting arraignment. He and 8 other accused members of the Folk Nation gang were indicted last month for murder and racketeering. One of the men is still on the loose and the rest have already been arraigned. Authorities believe the crew is behind 4 murders, 3 attempted murders, and a string of assaults and robberies. Officials say one of the gang's victims includes a 10-year-old girl who was shot in the neck.
This happened around the same time 2Gs was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, but was eventually dropped and was only 17 at the time. He was looking at life in prison if it had gone through. Luckily in his case, it didn't. As I've mentioned earlier, 2Gs was one of the pioneers of Brooklyn drill and formed Blixky Gang, according to him, though it's not really a gang. But it's Blixky Gang Entertainment, but many have speculated that it's more than that. The Blickies have repped the show, but also known as a part of the Twirlers, which is an alliance of gangster disciples out of Flatbush. The Blickies are more of a clique/music group, similar to FBG. Not all of them are GD. Most of them are from Hawthorne and Ebbets Field. Kush Blixky and K Blixky are bloods from SRK/50. So the Blickies are known as twirlers, therefore doing the Blixky twirl on their music videos while dancing. The twirlers and Chose alike are both beefing with the woos. As for the twirlers, they beef more specifically with the flossy woos, or the floss, which is the set Pop Smoke is from. And Woo. The Woo Alliance is made up of the Floss, GS9 and a few allied Crip sets. The Flossy itself is made up of a couple subsets. 80s GSC/Fam/Zoe Block, 717 GQ, 1090, 100 Clock GSC, 092 MLB. They have Crips and Bloods. The Twirlers are an alliance of all the GD sets in Flatbush. That consists of Newkirk SPMB, Ebbets Field, Veerside 211 511 SIG, Hawthorne H Block and Garvey out in Brownsville. They are also allied with a few other hoods, Soft/SRK, which are hats, and Mac Ballas, 50s and Church Avenue, the 9 Treybillies on Fenimore, Fenny-G's. It's a complicated story behind their beef, as the both sides consist of many different gangs, who have their own rivalries, and so on. But to simplify the situation for you, this is the best way to explain it. It's a mix of different gang beefs, who progressively got bigger as the alliances are backing each other up, separate beefs, that eventually turned into a bigger war. GS9, where Bobby Shmurda is from, beefed with the Gangster disciples from Ebbets Field, and Veerside, CYG, since they used to go by COD, Cash on Deck, since about 2010-2011. And GS9 has always had ties with the Floss, especially the 100 Clock Crips, being that they're both 823 GSC sets. Even though GS9 is just a clique from the East Flatbush 90s, they have Bloods too, but are mostly 823 GSC members. The war really sparked off when Spades of the 100 Clock Crips shot and killed Reckless from SPMB after a party. The next notable death in the war is when Rich Flocks was killed in LA by Flossie Wu members. Malik Bola, who was also known as Reckless, unfortunately got killed back in January 1, 2014 in Bushwick. Reckless was shot in the chest following a fight over a girl at a party he had attended. Before he was shot, he sent out a call for help, noting that there were ops in the area, referring to opposition members of gangs from Canarsie, also known as the Flossian gang parlance. This led to members from NLC driving out in Canarsie looking for 100 Clock Crips or HQ Monopoly or merely anyone who was Flossie, as retaliation for the murder of Reckless. During the escalating violence, it is alleged, NLC members frequently discussed their intentions and efforts to engage in additional attacks, and took credit for past attacks using social media. The violent attacks on their Canarsie rivals escalated further following the October 14, 2015, murder of NLC member Richard James, aka Moneybags James, was shot to death outside the Comedy Store on the Sunset Strip in West Hollywood, California. It is alleged that during the conspiracy charged in the indictment, which is from September 27, 2013 until January 25, 2016, to further the criminal activities of the gang, NLC members committed various other crimes, including selling prison contraband and robberies. They also communicated their intentions on social media, including Facebook, and during inmate calls made from Rikers Island, including ordering acts of retribution such as beatings and shootings of members of rival gangs. Many of the phone calls were allegedly made by or with Quan Waddell, aka K, who is considered the big homie, or leader of NLC. One other notable murder in this beef is the murder of Rich Flocks, who was killed in LA by some Flossie Woos in October 2015, and there has been chaos ever since. And all of this has led to the way it is today. And that's why they beef who they beef with.
I don't know if any of them beefs make sense, but it seems like it's not too different from the motherfuckers in the city. So I see why they kind of, I mean, all gangs got their own bullshit, but it seems like they all start to do the same shit. Like most of these folks they talking about in this story are mixed up gangs in one gang, and I thought that was a, you know what I'm saying, kind of a no-no for some niggas, but I guess at this time, shit, as long as you rock with us and don't be on no fucking disrespectful shit with one of us or whatever the case, I guess that make it okay. I don't really know. If you have a clue, shit, let me know.
leader of Blixky Gang is Lou Blixky and 22Gs, and formed the group, and has expressed themselves more as a music group, but has been involved in a lot of gang stuff going on in Brooklyn. Other notable members from the Blickys are Nas Blixky, Nick Blixky, Breezo Blixky, Kush Blixky, K Blixky, Skrell Pate and Sauce Blixky.
That's what's up, my niggas. Love. The Blickies, man. The Blickies, man. The Blickies. Do it one time before I get out of here. Y'all gotta do it one time, man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not Blicky. Gotti Blicky, man. Lou Blicky. Stone Blicky. Richie Blicky.
Sasa Blicky.
Sasa Blicky. Keith Blicky. Bigger Blicky. Sprout Blicky. Jew Blicky.
Jeffrey Mark Alexander, born November 29, 1997, also known as 22Gs, and grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Grew up with a single mother, and lost his brother to a 16-year prison sentence, but is supposed to be released 2023, and as for his father, he sadly passed before 22 was even born. He is of Guyanese descent, and growing up he used to dance in the New York City subway, and that's where the entertainment side of him started. After releasing the singles Blixky and Suburban in 2016, 22Gs gained a following from his YouTube videos. Suburban, produced by London-based drill producer Axel Beats, was regarded as one of the first major Brooklyn drill songs to become popular. 22 gained attention, leading him to signing with Atlantic in 2018, and his label A&R helping him getting noticed by Kodak Black. One of his first songs released on the label, Spin the Block, was a collaboration track with Kodak Black.
I ain't know that.
22Gs released his first mixtape with Atlantic, the Blixky Tape, in July 2019. His follow-up mixtape Growth and Development was released on April 10, 2020, and was co-produced by London-based drill producer Ghosty. Torsten Ingveldsson of Hypebeast praised the mixtape, stating, 22Gs has riotous energy, bringing forth aggressive lyrics and militant deliveries that continue to sculpt out his fast-paced tries. Unfortunately, along the way to his success, there have been obstacles through legal issues that have been holding him back, but has seen success nonetheless.
Investigators say it started at the 200 block of Ocean Drive. 19-year-old Jeffrey Alexander allegedly shot and killed 30-year-old Ladarian Tyrell Phillips of Homestead.
The first incident was the shooting that occurred in Miami, Florida, as there was a shooting that occurred at a parking lot. According to the authorities in Miami, 22Gs supposedly shot and killed Ladarian Phillips along Ocean Drive during the Urban Beach weekend. What supposedly went down was that 22 and his friend was trying to parallel park, and 22 was the passenger, and they tried to park near a gold Buick. As they were parking, they struck the Buick a couple of times, upsetting the owner Edward Ellis and Ladarian Phillips, and an argument took place. As it escalated, it unfortunately...
Damn, I'm thinking that they was arguing into the sense of, hey man, I was trying to get that parking spot first, you feel me? Like, how you gonna jump your ass on line ahead of me? But they hit the nigga car, so I get the reason why the motherfucker was mad. I just want to understand, like, how far did it go that nigga put out a pistol, though?
He led to either 22Gs or his friend opening fire and shooting both of them several times. Damn. Phillips unfortunately succumbed to his wounds and sadly passed away, and as for Ellis, he luckily survived his wounds. After the shooting, 22Gs and his friend took off with 2 other passengers. They crashed through 2 patrol cars, and the police tried to stop them, and 2 policemen opened fire at the car and shot the driver of the vehicle. As for 22Gs and the other passengers, they were arrested and 22 was charged with murder. As it later turned out, the driver that was shot and killed by the police was the gunman that shot Phillips and Ellis, and the charges were dropped 5 months after 22.
I was about to ask, like, damn, did they charge him for his man's action? Because that's usually what the fuck I see. Like, if you with your mans and he end up getting killed, or since y'all niggas was on some shit, but they ass look like they was just on their way or rapping to somewhere. But usually, shit, the man that was with him get to take that motherfucking rap.
2Gs went to jail. Ellis, who survived, pointed out 2Gs to be the shooter, but physical evidence and witnesses contradict the statements of Ellis. Two 2Gs being a Blicky/twirler led to him having beefs with several rappers from the Wu, like Pop Smoke and 5EO Foreign, and Chef G, who is an 83 Gangsta Crip. Back in 2017, Chef G dropped the track No Suburban, which is a diss track towards 22, and the reasoning behind their beef is because of Chef G being an 83 G Crip, which is a gang that beefs with the GDs, and Chef G and his guys have problems with the GDs/Blickies. Chef G was supposedly stabbed by a member of the Blickies, and the supposed perpetrator was the rapper Nick Blicky, but it was only rumors. Two 2Gs mainly focused on his music, and quickly grew as one of the best rappers in Brooklyn drill, and was signed to Atlantic Records, and started affiliating with sniper gang Kodak Black. As for his legal issues, in only less than a year, after he was locked up for 5 months, he would be brought in by the authorities alongside 11 others for weapons and gun charges, after they got caught trespassing in a basement of an apartment in Crown Heights. Two 2Gs recorded a Facebook live stream from their cell, clowning the cops showing money and weed to the camera, which was a bad look for the NYPD.
That's a weird shot right here for the new video, man.
Yo, they're not GDs, we crushing them. Yo, listen.
This time
They're not
I'm on
GDs,
this
we
shot,
crushing them.
man.
That's a fact. Understand?
For this
Do
video,
you hear
yo.
me?
Blicky the blicky. No, we fucking rocking.
As for two 2Gs gang affiliation and beefs with other rappers, it led to him and several other rappers to be taken off the roster of Rolling Loud back in 2019. On October 12th and 13th, 5 New York City rappers, Pop Smoke, Casanova, Don Q, Chef G, and two 2Gs, were scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud, the popular rap festival that was finally making its debut in the birthplace of hip-hop, after dominating Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Miami. But 3 days before their appearance at Queen City Field, festival organizers received a letter from NYPD Assistant Chief Martin Morales, citing each performer as public safety concerns.
So, they said fuck their career because of their history and past, which don't get me wrong, because they shit can start up there at they, you know what I'm saying, event. But my whole point of the matter is, you niggas should have just made the rules a lot strict. Because you basically look like you just fucked over half their career And some could have moved on through some other shit. Ain't no telling. But shit, the fact that you told the niggas, man, we ain't allowing y'all here. I know that pissed them off because it's kind of blowing me for me even seeing this shit in the story. You gonna tell me I can't keep my career elevating because you believe the niggas we beefing with, but they could have been on some other shit, man. We came here to get this bread. Now, at the end of the damn show, I don't know if they probably would have got down. But if the niggas was really there for their performance and they bread like they wanted, I'd still stuck a chance because at the thought, not everybody gonna fuck over their money in another place. Especially when it's a Rolling Loud concert. Who don't go there? I mean, I ain't been. But shit, I know it's a lot of motherfuckers that spend bread to get there. And was expecting certain motherfuckers because they probably seen featured on the flyer and or whatever they seen it on. So the fact that they took a certain amount of motherfuckers out, shit, it probably dropped a lot of their sales that day too.
The above-listed performers have been associated with recent acts of violence citywide, Morels wrote in the letter, dated October 9th. The New York City Police Department believes if these individuals are allowed to perform, there will be a higher risk of violence. On Saturday, the first day of the festival, Karen Civil, an influential hip-hop digital marketer, shared a photo of the NYPD's letter, alerting fans and the general public. Each listed rapper was subsequently removed from the Rolling Loud lineup, with no reason given as to why these particular artists were deemed a higher risk compared to other festival performers. Tariq Sharif, a co-founder of Rolling Loud, wrote on Twitter that all artists would receive their booking fees in full and receive offers to perform at future Rolling Loud events in other locations. All the public sees is the letter, Sharif wrote. Way more happened behind closed doors. If we want Rolling Loud to return to NYC, we have no choice but to comply. That's the position we're in.
So, not only did the rappers get the deceased letter of no, you can't come do shit, the motherfuckers that do the concert got a letter basically saying if you go against what the fuck we said, that you can't even motherfucking bring this event here again. They really was fucking with people. Like, what the fuck?
As I mentioned earlier, this was supposedly due to gang beefs, as the respective rappers were affiliated with gangs that was known to have a rivalry, and the risk of any violence erupting due to that was non-negotiable to the NYPD, and it was due to concerns of the Wu and Cho beef, with 22G's being a Cho and Pop Smoke a Wu. As for 22G's himself, he was really about his music, but as you can see from his resume, from time to time due to circumstances, he would get involved in some bad situations. In recent times, on June 12, 2022, 22G's was arrested at the airport for a shooting back in March, and was charged with attempted murder for a shooting that led to 3 people getting injured. This supposedly went down in a Brooklyn party hall, and all of the victims identified 22G's as the alleged shooter. Inmate records from the NYC Department of Corrections confirm that 22G's was arrested 12th of June, which was a Sunday, and then held on Rikers Island with bail set at $500,000, but has been bailed out since then, and was supposedly bailed out 4 days later. He is also facing charges of second-degree assault, second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and first-degree reckless endangerment. As I've mentioned earlier, 22G's is the biggest rapper coming out of the Blixky gang, but there are a lot of talents, such as Nas Blixky, Nick Blixky, and so on. But due to their beef, and to gang violence, they have had their fair share of losses, and lost a fair share of their friends. The night of May 10, 2020, was an unfortunate day for the Brooklyn drill rapper, by the name of Nick Blixky, as this day was his last, before he would unfortunately get shot, and killed by the age of 21 years old. Nick Blixky, aka Nicholas Thompson. Nick was the rapper holding it down for the Blickies, while 22G's was locked up for the shooting in Miami by starting to make music and recorded a song, which 22G's was unaware of at the beginning. He was rapping before that, but only messing around with it. But it was at that time it got serious. As he was climbing up the music scene, beefs were cooking up along the way, and Nick was making it clear for the ops that he was about that life, as he was the one who allegedly sliced the rapper Chef G on the head, as he was an op, dissing his friend 22G's multiple times and with the track No Suburban.
Said don't get to talk about my nigga, bro, I'ma get on your ass. And I guess he did. They don't play.
The night of his murder, he was discovered lying on the road on Winthrop Street in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, and was reportedly shot 7 times on his torso, and died. He was found fatally shot around 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday night. Nick was rushed to NYC Health and Hospital/Kings County, where he was later pronounced dead. As a video surfaced, with Nick lying on the ground, with police surrounding his dead body, it was first speculated that he was killed due to police brutality, but was revealed to be fake news, and not the case at all, as his close friend by the name of Nasir Fisher clarified that on social media. The police also believed that it was tied to the murder of Pop Smoke prior, as Pop Smoke was a part of Wu, and beefed with the Blickies, as they are Cho. Breeze Blicky openly roasted Pop Smoke for his passing, and that allegedly led to Nick getting killed. But friends of Nick tried to clear the fact that Nick never dissed Pop, and it was Breeze that did. As Nick Blicky's death was a reality, some of their ops went overboard with dissing him, as for example the rapper whose Toby vandalized his grave, posting a picture saying "Rest in Piss Nick Blicky," writing GDK on his tombstone, and posted a video celebrating the slain as well. Fede Luciano, from GS9, and was an op to the Blickies as well, dissing Nick.
Yo, strip. Yo, one of the ops just got killed, man, and you know what I'm saying? One of these niggas, the nigga that got killed, you know what I'm saying? He was smoking on Pop, so we smoking on him right now and shit like that, you know, regular.
As the authorities were working on this case, they later arrested a suspect by the name of Caliph Glean, and was arrested in Philadelphia as he was charged with illegally possessing ammunition, linking him to surveillance footage of the murder. It was revealed in the video that it seemed to appear that they were friends in some way. Surveillance showing the two greeted each other moments before he shot him. The thing that linked him to the footage was a few things, but the thing that stuck out was a globe tattoo. Casings from the murder scene was also linked to the weapon they found on Glean, so it appeared to be him, and was wearing a blue bandana, so it is speculated that he is a Crip/Wu member. In connection with this murder, he was going up against court, and he made a GoFundMe, as he wanted people to donate, so he could afford an attorney. What the sentence is unknown yet. Nick's mother was interviewed by Upper Class on YouTube, and she talked about her son being sacrificed by the Blickies to gain more notoriety for themselves, rather than the spotlight being on him.
Now I wonder if he actually raised no money though. Like if anybody know if he did, let me know, cause like I ain't never tried this app when I thought I needed some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I wanna know if he was able to actually get some money for a lawyer or whatnot, because I don't know how many motherfuckers would have did it, but I would actually like to know if y'all know if he got it or not.
Not too long after the murder of Nick Blicky, the Blickies were about to suffer another loss, as Lou Blixky lost his life as well. Luis Caballero, also known as Lou Blixky, unfortunately got shot and killed in October 2020, and was just a few months after the murder of Nick. He was shot around 1 a.m. in Brownsville at Watkins Street and Livonia Avenue. This was a heavy loss for the Blixkys and left friends and family members of Lou heartbroken. The authorities arrested a suspect killer by the name of Robert Benjamin and was charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon and was held without bail. Robert Benjamin was supposedly a Crip who were known to have beef with the GDs. Lou was struck in his torso, arm and leg, and was left in a critical condition and succumbed to his wounds. Lou was supposedly shot by RJ Floss from 092 MLBOA/Floss.
He looked like he no more than 16 if that's the last picture he had. God damn. So I guess I can say, like, some of the shit that we were seeing in the Chicago videos, it's just not different, but it's just, I don't know. It seemed like it would be a different thing at a different state notice, but I guess it's just said it all run the same. And what I mean by different is more like, do you believe that niggas could have did a lot of their role plays different, but it seemed like everybody do the same shit?
As for the Blixkys, as a whole, are known to beef with the Woos, which has been escalating alongside the drill music in Brooklyn, and this has led to dead bodies. The two rappers from the respective sides, who carried the Brooklyn drill into the spotlight, are Pop Smoke and 2Gs, and ever since the unfortunate passing of Pop Smoke in LA, the beef has only escalated there between the two sides. The rivalry got so serious that radio DJs, such as DJ Drewski from Hot 97, announced that they will not be playing drill disc records anymore.
Yeah, I want to be in the mix of that shit.
Another rapper from the Blixkys that got shot was the rapper Nasir Fisher, aka Nas Blixky, was supposedly shot, and happened after a preview of the song PG-16, and people are saying it's because of that he got shot as he dissed people. Whether that is the case is unknown. The Blixkys are hated in Brooklyn, and overall, as they are Cho, and has many ops, so it could have been anyone, but it's highly speculated to be from the Wu side, who did it. After Nas got shot, he was taken to the hospital, left in critical condition, and the social media went wild. Everybody was speculating, and some even claimed he was dead, but he luckily survived.
Shit crazy.
Rappers like Nazi BK didn't hesitate a second to take this to social media and diss him. Nazi BK posted on his Instagram stories laughing about Nas Blixky's possible death, saying, Dubsky got, Lordy got, stabbed, Raw got, Nicki Blick got, Nas Blick got, Dre got, Jigga checked out. Damn, I miss all the ops. DM me now? OSHT, y'all can't. N. A got head tapped like cow? He also added, I thought you keep a Blixky like how. I hope you die in. A. Just give up, stop fighting. Matter of fact, somebody tell me what hospital he in. I'ma go and unplug that shit right now. But he later came out, saying somebody hacked his Insta, and that he didn't have anything to do with the post, and apologized.
I don't think it was hacked. I mean, if them the ops, I don't think his shit was hacked.
After Nas Blixky got shot, it only took 2 days until someone from the Wu side was about to get shot and killed. It would unfortunately be the pioneer of getting sturdy and the up-and-coming rapper from Canarsie, Brooklyn, Wu. The shooting happened only a few hours after he signed a record deal with a music label and died at the age of 22. The label confirmed his death by posting a tribute on Instagram, saying it's an honor to remain your friend until your last moments. Your memories will always stay with us, no matter where we go and what we do. Sleep in peace, the post continued. #long live Dud, praying gesture, just know his legacy will always live, from his laugh to the dance everyone across the world does. Some of us know him as a friend, brother, cousin or just a fan, but we all come together to tell you fly high, praying gesture. He was shot in his own neighborhood, supposedly outside his mother's house, in Canarsie, and was shot in the head, and was taken to the hospital, and later pronounced dead. This was a heavy loss for Wu, and for a lot of rappers like 5Yo Foreign, and Bobby Shmurda. He was also close with Pop Smoke, he was loved by many, and was always dancing and getting sturdy on music videos with Pop Smoke, and 5Yo and so on, being on stage with 5Yo. This murder seems to be linked with the shooting of Nas Blixky, and was a quick get back. With all of these shootings and killings, indictments are bound to come due to the nature of the Blickys and the other gangs they are affiliated with. As for indictments, besides the ones I've mentioned earlier, more specifically regarding 22Gs, the Blickys, as a whole went through a huge indictment back in August 4th of 2021, last year. A third superseding indictment charging James Thomas, aka Spaz, Duvon Wilson, aka Dupree, Courtney Schloss, aka Bwe, aka Balenci, Ken Alexander, Akara Yu, Argam Taj, aka Sauer, Samuel Taj, aka Sosa, Christopher Machado, aka Chris Elite, Harley Ramos, aka White Girl, and Jamel Thomas, aka ML, with conspiracy to commit gun trafficking in connection with their involvement in a scheme to illegally transport firearms from Georgia for resale to residents of New York. Thomas Wilson and Schloss were also charged with interstate travel with intent to engage in gun trafficking. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Audrey Strauss said, "Today's arrests shut down the alleged gun pipeline of these 9 defendants. These arrests should also send a message to anyone who is thinking about illegally selling guns to New Yorkers, or illegally bringing guns to New York. We, and our law enforcement partners are watching, and we will prosecute gun traffickers to the fullest extent of the law." From at least in or around August 2020 up to, and including April 2021, the defendants used Georgia resident Dupree as a straw purchaser to buy at least 87 firearms from at least 6 federal firearms licensees in Georgia. Over the course of the scheme, during which Dupree completed approximately 30 different transactions, Dupree attested that he was the true purchaser of the firearms, when in fact, he was buying the guns on behalf of the defendants, who in turn illegally resold many of the guns to others. Prior to purchases, the defendants coordinated with Dupree to place orders for specific firearms and pay for the weapons using cash, mobile banking applications, and through wire payments. When communicating about the firearms, the defendants used coded language, referring to the weapons as TVs, knocks, and situations. In some instances, the defendants referred to the caliber or model of a firearm by referencing the jersey numbers of famous athletes. After purchasing the weapons, Dupree...
That's why y'all couldn't take their ass early. They was fucking with y'all, so everything you was reading, you had to pay attention closely.
transferred the firearms to Spaz, Way, Balenci, and others, who sold some of the guns in Georgia, and transported other firearms, primarily by bus, to New York for resale. In many instances, the guns were transferred to members of the Brooklyn-based Blixky gang, a group composed primarily of aspiring rappers. Some of these guns later appeared in music videos filmed by members of the Blixky gang. The videos, which include some of the defendants charged today, show Blixky gang members brandishing loaded firearms and displaying stacks of cash. On some occasions, law enforcement successfully interdicted firearms being transported by the defendants before they reached New York. For example, in November 2020, law enforcement in South Carolina stopped a bus in Welford, South Carolina, from which they seized 5 firearms, 4 pistol magazines, a high-capacity .40 caliber magazine, and a 9mm drum magazine, all of which were being transported by the defendants in a single backpack. Law enforcement in New York City seized other firearms purchased in Georgia by Dupree. On at least 2 occasions, in the wake of violent crimes, the NYPD seized firearms trafficked to New York as part of this scheme. As alleged, in February 2021, the NYPD seized a gun that Dupree had bought after a fleeing suspect discharged it at responding officers in the Bronx. And in April 2021, following a shooting in the Bronx, the NYPD seized another pistol purchased by Dupree. Law enforcement authorities across numerous jurisdictions have recovered a total of 18 firearms purchased by Dupree in the course of the scheme.
Damn. I will not lie though. He was smart for a good minute before motherfuckers start catching on.
If convicted, upon all charges such as conspiracy to commit gun trafficking and illegal transportation or receipt in state of residency of firearm, purchased or acquired outside of state of residency, gun trafficking, and interstate travel with intent to engage in gun trafficking, could be looking to 10 to 20 years in prison if convicted. The Blickys are known to be one of if not the most hated gang in Brooklyn, as they are mainly GD/Cho, and the GDs in New York are hated on, and it's a trend throwing up and saying GDK, which stands for Gangster Disciple Killer, but the Blickys have been holding it down, but has went through a lot of losses, in which bodies from their camo has been dropped, which is unfortunate, as the potential was endless for them in the rap game, but unfortunately these things go hand in hand with the drill culture. But 22Gs, despite everything, has managed to keep most of his focus on music, and release good tracks, but is now fighting some legal issues, as he was recently charged with attempted murder, which we don't know too much about as of right now, and whatever happens next remains to be seen.
what I want to say in conclusion, the only reason I feel like I can't stomach these damn situations, and main reason is because the blood bad for the shit. I see a lot of potential in a lot of shit when I actually look up some of these music and shit. And then you realize, damn, they not even alive no more. So you can't see the next level of what they can push. But anyway, like I said, that's my conclusions in this review. Solo out.